I'd like to bring up our first tellers. Adam and Raquel Gonzalez are here to share a story about love.
What if I told you that you were going to have an unforgettable love story, that it would be published around the world, that you would be invited to speak about it on live TV and travel across the US to share it? But there's a catch. What if you had to lose everything and suffer great heartbreak in order to continue this so-called fairy tale? But why don't you take us to the beginning, Adam?
Thank you. So in 2011, I experienced a traumatic brain injury, which landed me in a coma, and it was pretty bad. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't think cognitively for myself. Actually, when I came out of coma, when they asked me what year it was, I said 1985. So yeah, I lost quite a bit of memory even back then in 2011. But I had to learn to walk and talk and get back to living life again. So I did after quite some time. So a big shout out to the Transitional Learning Center in Lubbock, Texas. So at that time, I was like, I'm ready to leave Texas. I just want to start a new life and a new adventure. And so I moved to Arizona, and that's where I met this beauty.
And we started what was the beginning of a love story. So we met at the VIG, shout out to the VIG in downtown Phoenix, which started a 6-hour date that never quite really ended.
I was an hour late because I went to the wrong location.
Yeah, and
She waited, thank God.
I did wait, and we fell in love. And I always think of the way I met Adam with the quote common says, and it's it doesn't take all day to recognize sunshine. And I think the feeling was pretty mutual. Realness always recognizes realness, and so we fell in love, and we blended our 3 kids, my 1, his 2, 3 of ours. By 2015, we were married. But then life pretty much stopped in 2016. I woke up or walked in one morning to the front living room of our home to find Adam super confused and just sitting there in our living room at like 5 a.m., not knowing where he was. And so I asked him, "Do you know who I am?" And he said, No. And that just broke my heart, because I always knew that because he was a TBI survivor, that we would have some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's risk when we were older. And in my mind, I thought, we would be these 2 old folks in a corner staring at a wall in our wheelchairs with Pampers on. And that would be when we finally both lost it. And here we were, 30s, in our 30s, and he'd forgotten me. And so, of course, that was just a traumatic experience just for me alone. And so what ended up happening was I took him to the hospital. We were there for about 5 days.
Lots of tests.
Tons of testing. They couldn't figure anything out. And so really from the first day, Adam starts quizzing me. Are you really my wife, or are you some crazy lady who's,
I did.
Misery.
I said, oh, well, let's, can you prove it? I mean, do you have a marriage license or marriage certificate or something? And what did you know? She has a marriage certificate, like whips it out of her purse. Like, who does that?
Before you judge me, we had just gotten married the year before, and I'm a working woman, and banks are open working hours. So what's a girl to do but carry her marriage certificate?
Yeah.
Anywho, I proved my place.
Yeah.
And we started dating in the cafeteria in the hospital, doing cafeteria dates. So we'd go downstairs and eat horrible food.
Nice walks down the hallways.
In your open gown. Yes, flashing all the nurses. And so 5 days went by. We moved back home. And when we moved back home, our community really surrounded us. I know this show is all about community, but people who were not our family really surrounded us.
Embraced us.
We had, families bringing us food so that we could focus on Adam's health. And we were constantly in hospitals and doctor's visits, just trying to find out what this mystery situation was. And then these amazing women and mothers would take and bring my kids back and forth to school. And I really saw this amazing love through these women and families. And then, of course, we continued living our life together, but life got hard. we're living as two strangers. I loved him. He didn't love me. And in case you guys forgot, he didn't remember me. So of course he didn't love me.
It's challenging when you have a traumatic brain injury. I wake up and then all of a sudden you're married, you have a stepchild, and you're living in a different state that you didn't know that you moved to. So it was very scary, and I had to believe that what was true because the evidence was all around me. But yet there was no emotional connection with Raquel. So every day was hard. It was extremely hard because just think of something like if I was to go to the kitchen and grab something to drink, I should know what my partner wants to drink, whether it's milk, water, Coke, wine, whatever. And I didn't know the simple things, and it was really tough. And so it was challenging, and I came to the point I was like, listen, this is hard, and it's not fair for anyone to go through this or to endure all this. You're a beautiful woman. You're at the top of your career. I can go back to Texas. Let's just call it quits, and let's just go our separate ways. Basically, ask for a divorce because it was really hard. It was really hard. And what did you say?
Well, typical Raquel, I didn't take the first answer, and I was stubborn, and I dug my heels in. But I got to say, that was hard. Being, rejection is difficult. And I just remembered the vows that I made when we were married. And I told him that I would marry him in sickness and in health. And that's the only thing I kept hearing in the back of my mind as he was asking me for a divorce was, he's not well. So how am I supposed to leave him when he's not well? And so I declined. I told them that this is not how we move forward. I promised you that I would be with you in sickness and in health, and I'm going to fight for our marriage, and let's just give this a try. And so he reluctantly stuck with it. And I also prayed. I'm a woman of faith, and so I asked my girlfriends to join me. And to this day, they always say, don't piss Raquel off because she's going to pray and you don't know what's going to happen anymore. We've been through everything at this point because fast forward, November of that same year, Adam wakes up next to me. And
so I woke up in November, 16 or so?
2016,
thinking it was like November 2014. And I was apologizing for a family member's behavior. We had a family Thanksgiving event. And she was like, Adam, do you know who I am? And I'm like, yeah, well, how could I ever forget who you are?
The audacity, right? Like, he really told me what I could never forget you.
And then went on explaining, apologizing for the family member that, offended folks. But anyhow, that was just, I woke up and I actually remember dating Raquel and wanting to marry her. And she's like, oh, we got married. We live here in Arizona, and I've got to get to work. I'll explain everything later. You got to take the girls to school. I'm like, what? So my 9-year-old's like 14. Our middle child is a teenager, and so I like put the address in GPS and let me take them to school. And so it was really confusing. And you have kids like here now up here.
So he woke up like Captain America, is what we always say in our family. Woke up, lost a ton of time, now had to catch up for time. I left him home alone with the kids. They figured it out. Time went on. We moved on after that. Since then, we've had our kids grow older. We've gotten older, and we're now in a different phase of our life where obviously I'm happy that he remembers falling in love with me. It's hard to carry on a relationship with
But I don't remember. I don't remember proposing to you. I don't remember proposing to you or our wedding day.
No.
I don't have those memories. But we do have new memories that we've created, and I'm thankful for that. I've been asked, man, Adam, would you go through all? Could you go through all that again? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. I would absolutely go through all of that again. If it was just to receive unconditional love and grace for just one day, to lose it all again, I would gladly do it for this woman. And now we're empty nesters, and we are excited about the new adventure that we don't know what we're going to do or what's to expect, but whatever it is, we're going to do it together.
Yeah, no kids.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for letting us tell our story.
Thank you.